Hi class, this is help with homework pages 91 and 92. So start by reading through the example with the triangles here and looking at this function. You can pause it until you've read through the example. So number 1, you were given some help on number 1 in class. And on number 1, it's asking you what's the relationship between the perimeter and the length of the sides of these triangles. So if you look, each time you're going from the side lengths and you're multiplying by 3 because there's 3 sides on a triangle. So you could say that in words you could write out the relationship as multiply by 3, or you could even write it like an equation that they have right here. Okay. Next, what is the rate of change? Well, we know that when we look at a linear function, the number in front of x, that's your rate of change or your slope. So in this case, our rate of change is 3. So 3 would be your slope or your rate of change. On number 3, they give you the function, so your perimeter equals 3 times the sides. And it's saying that Jessie says the equations of the form y equal mx have no rate of change. Is Jessie correct? No, she is not correct. And here's why. M is your rate of change or your slope. And in this case, our rate of change is 3. Jessie is confusing rate of change or slope with a y-intercept. On these ones, your y-intercept is going to be 0. So sometimes people write plus 0 so they don't get that confused. These are proportional linear functions. Okay, I'm going to switch to page 92 here. So let's go to the next page. Now on the next page, guys, this is a little review with graphing. So as you look here, it says tell whether each equation is a linear function, then graph each equation on the same coordinate grid. So if you look, this one is not linear. So it's a non-linear function. And the reason it's non-linear is because of that exponent right there. It's going to make it curved. So you can try plugging in some x values. So I could plug in 0. So 0 squared is 0 times 2 is 0. Okay. Let's say I plug in 1. Okay, so 1 squared is 1 times 2 is 2. So if I plug in 1, out comes 2. Let's say I plug in negative 1. So I'm going to square negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. Times 2 would also give me 2. So when I plug in negative 1 for the x, out comes 2 for the y. And I'm starting to get this U shape here. Okay, so there's a nonlinear function. On B, this one is a linear function. When I plug in some x values, let's say I plug in 1 or 0. So let's start with 0. So I plug in 0, add 2. So out comes 0. So I start at 0, 0. I'm going to change colors so you can see it. And then let's say I plug in 1 for the x. Okay, 1 plus 2 gives me 3. So I plug in 1, out comes 3. Let's say I plug in negative 1. So I do the math. If I plug in negative 1 for the x, okay, negative 1 plus 2 gives me 1. So okay, guys, so looking at this, so if I plug in negative 1, 2, so let's see. I get negative 1 for the x and 1 for the y. Uh-oh, that doesn't work. Oh, you know what I did? I made a mistake right there. So if I plug in 0 for the x and add 2, I should get 0, 2. There it is. So let me erase that one. And then back here, so if I plug in negative 1, out comes 1. Oops, and hopefully yours is a lot straighter than that. Okay, so you should have a straight line going here. Last one, number 5. Write an equation that is a linear function Then write an equation that is a nonlinear function. Justify your answers. So a linear function is going to look like this or in this form. Okay? So you can write anything that has a slope. Maybe it has a slope of -2 and a y-intercept of 4. That would be linear. If you have something that has an exponent, for example, squared, or let's say maybe cubed, any of these are nonlinear. They're going to give you a U shape. This one's going to give you an S shape. Okay? That should help with your homework. Good luck.